customary, we like to open our court meetings in the Pledge of Allegiance. And this morning, I've asked Mr. John Langford if he'd be so kind to open us up today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. You've all received a copy of those. What would be your pleasure?
Motion.
Motion to accept the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda will be old business, and we have a few road additions to, or a couple of road additions to discuss here. We've had road hearings on these, and we've got one road addition in the 1st District and one in the 3rd. We have first Charles Stevenson Road. It's an extension to an existing road, and it's non-conforming, but we did have a road hearing. And let's see, I don't think there was any opposition, was there, on that, Leslie?
No.
What would be your all's pleasure on Charles Stevenson Road?
Motion to extend it. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next road addition then would be in the 3rd District. We have Jerry Simpson Road, which was a non-conforming road, but we did have a hearing, and let's see, I don't think there was any opposition to that one. We did have a request that Mrs. Jones asked if the road name could be changed at a later date, but there was no opposition to adding it in right now.
I talked to her about changing the name on it when I went down and looked at it, and I told her that we would have to get with Aaron and those guys before they could change the name on it, you know. And I thought she was all right with it, so, you know, we can come back at a later date and change it. But it needs to be taken in. I make the motion, we take it in.
Got a motion to take Jerry Simpson Road and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries then. Next item on the agenda will be new business. We have a bid opening here for the jail e-cigarettes bid. You've got that, I think, Martin.
On the list here. So there's one bid. Briefly. They sure don't make it easy to find the number on this thing. Guess it's $3 per unit, whether you want classic or menthol. This is. Those are the only dollar numbers that I see in this.
No matter whether you buy one or 100, they're $3 a piece, huh?
Apparently so. Guess y'all could accept it and let Brother Moss look at it and see if it.
Do we have a
Have
motion?
you seen it, David, or do you need to look at it, or? Yeah, okay.
Want to have a motion to accept this for review?
Accept it for review.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
You wanted to look at it right now with somebody?
Jailer.
It was, David, what company's that?
Crossbar.
Crossbar, yeah.
Is that Jamie Mosley's?
It says, maybe it's Smoker Crossbar, I guess that's the address, but, or the .com, so. Crossbar is what I'm thinking the name of it is.
Yeah, Crossbar, London, Kentucky. 1555 South Main Street, London, Kentucky.
Jamie Mosley.
While he's reviewing that, then we'll carry on with new business. We have I've got a couple appointments that I'd like to make. First one is a cemetery board reappointment for Babe Hughes. And this will be a 4-year term that would expire on December 8th, 2020. Entertain a motion to accept Babe
Motion
Hughes.
to put Babe on there.
Second.
Have a motion to second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And the next appointment then would be for the Woodstock Community Center Board, and it's also a reappointment. Mr. Andy Roberts, and that would be a 4-year term expiring December 14th.
Motion.
2021. We have a motion?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item then, we have a few petitions for roads to be brought into the county road system. I need to get volunteers to look at these roads for us, please. In the first district, we have Jasmine Way, which is a non-conforming road, but if two of y'all would be willing to look at that.
I'll go.
I will too.
And then in the second district, we have two. We have Prater Lane and Clearview Drive. Both are non-conforming. Would two of y'all volunteer to look at those?
What's it mean there? It was May's place or something,
In your packet, it was May's place, but once verified with 911, we had to change it to Prater because there's too many Mays in the system.
So it ain't two different roads. it's
No,
just-
same road.
I don't know where's that. Nobody said to me about it.
I'll look at it.
I will do.
Two again? Yes, they just came into the office and made a request.
It's not firing.
Then we have in the fifth district, we've got Omega Hills Drive. It's actually a conforming road. I just want to have it brought into the system.
Where's that at? That Mega Hills? That's
Omega Hills are all the way down by the boat ramp
What boat route?
and in Omega Park.
Yeah, that's in
Yeah,
Lynn's
that's
area.
fourth
Fourth
district.
district.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. That's
Oh,
what we were just discussing, but that's
yeah,
fine.
that's yours.
Yeah.
It's all the way down at the end,
Yeah.
turns to the left off of Omega.
Goes up on the hill.
Yeah, we're,
It says 4th District on the petition.
Where's this, Prater's Lane at on mine?
That's fine. I just didn't know whether we both had one or.
do you know where the Prater Lane is? You said it was formerly Mays. You know where that's located?
I have a map downstairs. I can run it for you. I don't have it with me right now. You want me to get it?
I just don't know where's that.
Stroke and Max, you're gonna look at those.
Yeah.
You can put me on Omega.
You're gonna look at Omega Hills. That'd be Jason and
I'll go.
Jimmy volunteering.
I'll go.
You go with him? Okay.
Take your vote.
All right. Thank you all. Next item then on the agenda will be our Morton salt bid. Deputy Price is gonna address that, please.
A couple things, Judge. Back when we were accepting bids, at the beginning of the fiscal year, we accepted a Morton salt bid of $74 a ton roughly, and that's delivered. Well, fortunately, with improved fleet and the ability to us to clear our roads quicker and better, and the effort of the guys, we were getting to about 100 tons to run out of material. Well, when we ordered again for them to bring us another 200 or 300 ton, they gave me a 1 to 5 day window, no guarantee when it was going to come on a given day. Well, then they called back the next day and said they's out. So in turn, we had to go to Lexington and get a couple loads of salt. Well, then I called our Morton Salt rep. He said, you know, you all could join an agreement to pick your salt up yourself. So the fortunate thing about that is we've got local truckers sitting in Cincinnati coming back empty a lot of times, and they can bring that product back cheaper, and it puts local people to work. And that contract pickup is $51.50 a ton. So I'm asking permission to include that in additional as part of our Morton Salt contract.
That we can pick it up ourselves.
Yes.
I
And they
agree
use
with that.
local people.
Make a motion to do that.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I got one question. Do we have any idea what these local truckers are gonna charge us to bring it back?
Well, the Morton was charging us $24 a ton. Local people will bring back $16, $18 a ton. So it saves money.
Yeah. I mean, they're coming back empty, so
Yes.
they'll be glad to bring it back for a
Yes.
decent price, it should be.
And the company we used last was Watco, and they just, hey, when you want it all tomorrow, very easy to work with. You got truckers out of Indiana, you know.
Yeah.
They won't call you, things like that.
So let's take that vote again. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You got a question?
I have a question also, for Martin. Is that a problem to amend it?
Not as long as Morton agrees to it.
Okay.
I assume you've spoken with them. And
Yes, our rep gave us, we have a contract, he said, hey, you just need a addition to your contract where you can pick it up as well. Then
And it shouldn't run over 20,000 to get it here.
Right, but since we had already entered into a bid, I didn't know if it was okay to amend it.
Yeah, as long as.
It's like, because it doesn't go over, it's
Right.
basically,
Nothing's changing except
okay,
the whole, the freight part.
that's all I was checking on.
All right, I'm gonna,
second thing, Judge, that way, of course, the good fortunate thing about the frozen temperatures for consistently, we have a good fortune to have the opportunity to fix a lot of potholes. That's fun, you know. That being said, we're needing better equipment to do a better job for the people. And so what I'm asking permission is to ask permission to look at a piece of equipment on the approved state vendor list to help us with our asphalt, chip and seal needs.
that's this, what you have here, this 6-ton recycler?
We don't have to be restricted to that. They've got different pieces of equipment. I just want to make sure we get the best, give the best options for our court, because you're all the ones out there doing the work for the people a lot of times.
What's the difference in this and the hot box? I mean, I know this is larger, but
This is, the difference between this is, if you look at this, it's got a, where, you know, if you want to use rock, it'll mix it for you, because it has a, what's the term?
Asphalt milling.
Yeah, you can recycle it as well, but the thing about this is it'll allow you to take 6 ton out. Like, for example, if we was fixing some spots on, what's the farthest point in your district? Robertsport, maybe? Now we're taking what? A couple 300 pound? This allows us to take 6 ton out and stay in your district all day long or 2 days without having to come back and forth. It cuts down on the transportation time.
We looked at them, and back to them, we looked at them.
We looked at these, yeah. They brought it.
we'd also talked about a total patcher.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we did, and
A lot
so.
of money difference.
Huh?
A lot of money difference.
There's a big difference in the money, but when we talked to Taylor County, which is they've got one, they said the number one thing you gotta have is a tandem truck to carry your washed 8s. And it's gotta be an automatic. We don't have that. And the second thing, when I talked to the magistrates of Casey County, 40 or 50 degrees temperature-wise is about the best you can use that piece of equipment. So we're investing $150,000 in a piece of equipment that when we need it, and we won't be able to use it, is my concern. And getting wash dates in the winter months.
And this thing here will use whatever, huh?
Asphalt, yes. It'll use what we have on the yard as well as asphalt.
Is it got a place to hold the tack oil stuff too?
Yes, yes.
Hold- That's where we're getting in a lot of problems of our patching. We're not putting tack oil down first. It ain't bonding to it.
Yeah. That comes with a plate packer. It comes with the tank there in the front. That's the largest where you can have your spray wand.
Yeah. That's where the tack hole's right there.
Yes.
Now, what's the difference in the patch is my concern from what we're using now. I'm not very impressed with our patches at all. And what will this do? Jordan, I don't know, have you looked at this? What will this piece of equipment do compared to what we have now?
It'll take more people to run it, but in doing that,
You want to come up to the microphone so we can get
we've talked about it before. Me and Dan was talking about it over the weekend. You know, the thing that I'm concerned about with the total patcher is wash dates. We've tried it. It's hard. They're hard to get, especially when we need them in the winter. And, you know, we're going to tie up 3 guys on the total patcher, which you're going to be tying up probably the same amount of people on this patch machine. But the maintenance and the service on the total patcher is what I'm concerned about. And the time. You take a pothole that's a foot in diameter, and regardless of if it's a foot or the size of this room, you know, you're stopping, you're taking a process that takes 4 or 5 steps to complete it, and then to be done right, you need a pneumatic type roller to roll over that, just kind of what we've done with the chip and seal when we've done it. You know, that ties up a lot of equipment, and equipment we don't have right now. With this patch machine that's on this trailer, we can use a ton pickup truck that we've already got. We don't have to have a CDL driver, and we put 3 guys out with it. Each guy's going to have, you know, they're going to be shooting the tack down. One's going to be filling the hole. One's going to be running the plate compactor. And it's a self-contained unit. You know, we're not having to worry about clean out at the end of the day. It's you can program it to kick on of a morning, and it heats the product you're going to be using. So when the guys roll in, you know, it's ready for them to go then. So just the availability of it too. If it's 30 degrees and we've got a cross tile we put in, we can go out and patch that cross tile. If it's 30 degrees and we've got that total patcher, we got to wait till springtime. You know, that's my concern.
This is a third the cost.
I can't imagine using that thing and not cleaning it out. That
It's-
oil and everything is gonna get hard in that wand, and
Well, you've got a 20-gallon tank versus a couple 100-gallon tank, and spray bars, and a wand system that's, you know, it mixes your aggregate and your emulsion on your total patcher. A little more comprehensive. I mean, it's a big ordeal to clean it out, and that's the thing in talking to Taylor County. You know, when we went up there and seen them a couple years ago, it's a lot of time spent upkeep. Both of them have their.
So you're telling us that you don't have to clean this out. You can just go out and use it. Put it back.
It's a box. It's a heated box, just like what's on Tommy's truck right now. Okay, you empty that box out. If there's oil in that box, okay, at the end of the day, you shut it off. You put new material in it the next morning,
Yeah.
It just reheats what's left in there.
What about the one? That's what I'm talking about.
The one-
You'll have to clean it all out, right?
You'll have to clean it out. But, you know, it's not mixed with aggregate, and the length of hose, and, you know, it's not near as,
How will this make a better patch than what we have now, though?
Well, well, what we have now is 2 shovels and a pickup truck.
Mhm.
I mean, essentially. And with this, if you look, and then we've tried to include the tack, but now we've got a 3-gallon hand pump. And that's if they get down at Blue John, they run out, they throw it down, don't put any tack down. With this, we have what the guys need on the job. It's self-contained. It's got the packer, it's got the tack, and has the ability to carry more material out. And it's self-contained, meaning the product's already mixed. With the total patcher, you have to have a single axle dump truck with your washed 8s that dumps it as you need it, so it mixes it up. And that total patcher is, if you've ever seen a concrete pump with a boom, you know, it just sprays it out, sprays it out, sprays it out, then you pack it. And that's what we're saying about the clean out, is that big boom like on a concrete truck, Glenn. That's got to be, this doesn't have that, but it's got everything that we need to do a better job.
the total patcher does work. I ain't saying that it doesn't work. They, you know, it makes a good looking patch. But I'm concerned about when you compare our county with a Casey County, a Taylor County, a couple 100-mile roads.
Mm-hmm.
We've got thousands of miles of roads.
Yeah.
You know, so we're asking 3 guys to do what another road crew is doing that's got a couple 100-mile, and I just can't compare apples and oranges.
Yeah, and I understand, but, you know, we've got a hot box, and I mean, I just be honest with you, we've got bad patches everywhere. I mean, they're not cutting it, and I'm just looking at a way to have a better patch.
Well, the thing here is, and I agree with you, Jason, that's why we looked at it is, if you look at the truck that we have now, all we've got is the box. And they get there, I don't know, how much can they take in that box?
1,500, 1,800 pounds.
Okay, and they're essentially shoveling it out and putting it in the hole. This piece of equipment, it has the ability to cut it properly, saw it properly, put some edges like it's supposed to be. Then it has a compactor with it. Sometimes when we're out patching, we can't get the roller. Somebody's using it. Well, this is all self-concluded. It's got the packer with it. It's all right there. You can cut it, square it, put the material in the ground, vibrate it, put the tack on it like you're supposed to, and do a more efficient job.
I know one thing, we did have that extended period of freeze, 15 days of frozen ground, and all of a sudden it got soft, and there's chunks of asphalt popping up all over the county. So we're gonna be busy this next couple months fixing potholes. So,
And another concern of mine too is essentially, if we use the total patcher, it's essentially chip and seal. You see our chip and seal roads now. You know, if we, in the summer times, we can get hot mix.
This has the ability to use both.
I think the longevity of it is going to be, you know, you put hot mix in a pothole versus cold mix, you know, or chip seal.
Where's this guy? Is he in Michigan?
This is actually, I didn't ask him, I just got the state approved vendors list.
I think that he come down once before and showed us this thing.
The other one that we
years ago,
purchased
I was there
earlier
at that
was,
meeting.
That's K&M out of Michigan. This
Yeah.
company's not out of Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I don't,
I think the main headquarters may be, but I think there's a vendor that the state, they've just recently bought that piece of equipment.
I think they
And,
told me there's a 5-day turnaround.
And it's
5-day turnaround.
They have it here in 5 days.
Oh,
And the biggest thing is, and it's not to say the total patcher, because I don't want that guy coming here, is that we were not going to be able to use it when we need it. And you know how as well as I do, you guys are getting calls right now about potholes, and that temperature's down cold, we can't get that truck out. And this has the ability to anybody jump a full-size pickup truck and go. We're not relying on, well, do we have to have this operator? He's got his CDLs. You don't have to be reliant on that. It makes it more versatile. and we don't have to worry about getting wash dates, because sometimes, you know, you can't get wash dates.
How much is this thing?
It's, right, what you're looking at right now, it'll be somewhere around 20-some thousand versus 150-some thousand.
Buy 5 of them. Buy us all one for the same price as a total patcher.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can do that and it'll do everything that the total patcher does, you know.
The process
I
is,
just can't imagine a $20,000 machine doing the same thing that a $100,000 machine will do. I mean, it's possible, I guess, but, you know, or be better than that other machine.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you can do the same with it, but with this right here, you don't have to have a CDL driver.
It's gonna be a different type of patch. That total patcher puts in a feathered patch, a nice smooth patch, but you know, you're paying 5 times for the equipment. So I loved what I saw when we went and viewed the total patcher. It really did a good patch, but you know, if there's issues with weather and temperature, you know, it's not gonna help us when we have 2,000 miles of roads to do.
And with your chip and seal, and Mike, we looked at that last year, looking at it, it's a 3 or 4 ply process. It ain't just,
One and done.
yeah, it's,
Nowhere all the way.
That's the same as a total patcher. You put a layer down, then you put rock, and then oil, and then rock, and then oil, and
Yes.
then rock, and then oil, and build it up.
yeah,
It's just like chip and seal, just
Yes.
like putting chip and seal down.
yes. With this machine, you've already got your material, it's already warmed up, ready to go. And it makes it speedier. At the same time, you can stay in a district longer.
The big expense on that total patcher is the oil, I think.
Yes.
The tank to hold the oil.
Yeah, it's like 40,000.
Yeah, yeah,
Machine's
it's,
like 60.
yeah. Yeah.
And we don't have a freed up truck at the time to go
What do
along.
we need to do to look at both? I mean, we need to advertise these for bid, or?
This is already on the approved vendors list, but
Okay.
we just have to bring it down and let you all look at it. I'll take you all, actually, I can take you to Case County and see this.
Liberty
Okay,
State
yeah,
Highway's
got
got it right now.
They've got a total patcher too, don't they? They've got.
Yes, that's who when I talked to him, the judge in
We
Case
just-
County.
We need to go somewhere and look at both of them,
Yeah.
and then make our decision, I think.
Yeah,
Won't we plan on doing that, and then we'll put that on the next court meeting's agenda. So,
Yeah.
that's
I think so too. I think we just need to go look at them, see them work. I'd like to see both of them work.
yeah.
And talk with people that use them and got them, and see how long they last and work. And
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Can you
but-
talk to Judge Dial and see if you can arrange, is it Judge Dial that has that, or is it the State Department over there? in
The State
Casey?
Department has this. The judge and then the magistrates.
Our
Case-
state department's got one of them too, I think.
Yes.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can look at it right
But they
here.
just had one, that's where I got, when I was talking and looking at that K&W, the one,
yeah.
the bigger series, but it's not on the approved list. And I've reached out to the state, and they said, well, this is a comparable machine, but it's Falcon Company, it's on the list now. And so when they said, we just got one at Casey County, well, I sent the road department over there to look, and they sent me pictures, and that's what they've got.
That guy brought one of them down here and had the compactor and everything on it that time.
Yeah. that-
We,
that
we
was-
just bought the box to go in the back of the truck, and we was looking at buying that time.
Let's try to do research here this next 2 weeks, and we'll bring it back on the next court meeting. All right?
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Next item then on the agenda will be our department reports, and I've got the sheriff has a presentation for us, I think.
Good morning.
Morning.
Before I passed out a copy of our yearly report to everyone, and I need a motion to accept the 2017 yearly report.
Motion to accept.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
We'll have the final report due by the next fiscal court meeting after we reconcile all of the accounts, and it looks like we'll be right around that $75,000 mark for excess fees that we anticipated, so.
Great.
Thank
you,
y'all.
Sheriff. Good job.
Thank you, Sheriff. Next then will be our jailer. Did you have something, and also did you get a chance to review your?
That meet all the bid specs?
Have in front of each one of you a disc there, it's our policy and procedures manual. We just made a few tweaks, you know, as things go along, KRS change or codes change for jails. Things that we just upgrade a little bit. You'll see there's not many changes in it. We had to change a few wordings just to tweak it to make it sound better, more understandable. Something like immediate family. You know, people didn't really understand what immediate family was as far as vacation leave and stuff like that, or funeral leave. We just tweaked it up to make sure they understood what all that meant. There's nothing major in the policy at all that's changed. So, but each one of you have a copy of it. It's just saved a tree or two, I guess, by giving it to you on the disc. So that's all I have as far as that. If you have any questions about it, I'll try to answer them for you.
And then as far as your bid here, do you want us to vote to
Yes.
approve that?
Yes, please.
The bid meets specs. What would be your all's pleasure there?
Motion.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
David, on your
Carries.
policy and procedure manual, the court needs to adopt that so you can continue to be in compliance with the state for accepting state inmates, right?
We need to review it first.
Yeah, they need to review it. What I was gonna ask you to do, maybe, instead of them having to review the entire manual, do you have the ability to just to pull out the portions that changes were made? Okay. And maybe before you leave today, make a copy of that and give it to all the magistrates, and then they won't have to search through the entire disk to find where there's changes. Then they can look at it for the next meeting for adoption.
Next then will be our coroner, Kleiser. Okay. And anything from clerk's office today? Stacy Halcomb, Public Safety.
The Pulaski County SRT team's wanting to, they brought some trucks they wanted to surplus through the Fire Commission, and then was approved through Fire Commission. One of them is a 2007 Suburban, a 2009 F-150, a 1994 Super Duty, and a 2007 cargo trailer that was used for decon. And they actually own all that equipment, so they're just wanting to surplus it.
We do it all together.
And do you have the VIN number for those?
I do. I've got them all.
Motion to surplus.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
The only one I didn't have VIN number for was that decon trailer. We're gonna have to order a replacement title for it, but I've got the VIN number and information I gave her.
Wanted to congratulate you on taking care of that emergency situation we had with the fuel spill.
Yeah, that was
I know we had several playing a part in that.
That was a effort by a lot of different agencies, and they're still working on that, but everything looks like it's gonna turn out okay over that, so.
Good.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Anything else from Road Department, Jordan? You getting a workout today?
Approval of our work list. And they are, I know in Jimmy's district, there's 3 different roads that have speed limit signs.
Those the only ones?
That's the only ones I've seen.
Okay, so we need to.
One speed sign, and the other's children playing.
looks like West Coleman, 35 mile an hour.
We need a motion then to accept that 35 mile an hour speed limit on West
Motion.
Coleman.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Next page, Royce Road, 25.
All right, then we've got Royce Road, 25 mile an hour speed limit.
Motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Finally, on Deborah Drive, 25 mile an hour speed limit.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And we'll take the road work request as a whole.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's all. Thank you.
You got plenty of rock? Okay. Next then will be a 911 call center. Aaron?
We've got two open positions. We have two part-time. I'd like to ask the court to recommend Brittany Jones and Anna Meese to move from part-time to full-time at 911. And also have the terminal agency coordinator position. It's a supervisor position. They're open at 911 with we had one resign a couple weeks back. I'd like to recommend Marissa Lay for that one. And I'd also like to recommend Amber Mills to, she's a supervisor there. I'd like to add the TAC pay to her also, assistant TAC pay to her.
Let me
Say that one more time.
Yeah, let me back up. Anna Meese was full-time. Who was the other full-time?
Brittany Jones.
Brittany Jones.
Motion to move them to full-time.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then you were requesting to have Amber,
Amber Mills, for her to also be added onto the assistant tax there. And then Marissa Lay to be promoted to she's a dispatcher, promote her up to the TAC position, terminal agency coordinator position there.
Oh, wait a minute. Say that one more time, because they're going to be asking us. Alicia's got to put it in the minutes.
Terminal agency.
You need to print me something out.
I can get it to you after court if you want that.
Okay.
It don't matter.
that's a lot to take in there. Let's see.
You're just a little fast.
Motion to move Marissa Lay to
TAC.
TAC.
And what coordinator?
Amber Mills,
TAC
assistant
is
TAC.
the terminal agency coordinator.
Second.
We can do those together. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You'll get all that written down for
I'll get it there in a second.
Okay, next then on the agenda will be our solid waste. Danny, you with us today? I don't think I see you. Our animal shelter, Adam?
This is Danny, okay.
I got a very nice email bragging on our animal shelter, just so you magistrates know that Ellie Grant, who's one of our volunteers there that helps with the rescues and things, came to the defense whenever there was a situation on Facebook. Ellie Grant came to our defense and said, this animal shelter is doing a wonderful job and it's the best she's ever seen. So she was really bragging on you guys. And just, give you a chance and want to see that, I'd like to show it to you.
One of the things that for you all, and thank you all for your support, was great. Well, the great thing about social media, people see something that they take off with it. I call them keyboard warriors. They'll sit back and put anything on it. But over the course of a few years, we went from a 96% euthanasia rate to less than 1%. And that's amazing with the amount of animals that we take in. And I'm not talking about just little cute scruffies or fluffies. I'm talking about pit bulls and things of that nature. And that's just, something that you all need to be bragged on, to be at less than 1% euthanasia rate.
Keep up the good work. Y'all are doing a great job over there. Brings us into our treasurer, Joan.
I'll see if I can get through this. I'm not sure I can.
You can let Aaron read it for you.
Pardon? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Aaron will go too fast, me, you just can't understand. And I do apologize. The first thing, I think that you should have received your monthly bill list.
Motion.
Motion to accept the bill list. We have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item I have would be your, the bank reconciliation for the month of January.
A copy of your bank reconciliation will be your pleasure.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next thing I have would be fund transfers. I have 3 fund transfers. Just a note on the transfer to the grant fund. That is, of course, a grant which we will be receiving the money back, and it will go back to the general fund once we get that grant closed out.
Motion for fund transfers.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The last thing is just kind of a reminder for you all. There is a budget workshop at the CAECO office on Friday from 9 to 12, if any of y'all want to attend, but there will also be one at the Lake Cumberland Ad in Russell Springs on March 2nd. I will be speaking at both of those if I can speak. So just wanted to let you all know in case any of y'all wanted to attend. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joan. I'm going to. One thing I have, and I've mentioned to each of you all here today, would like to change the date of our next meeting from February 27th to February 28th at 10 o'clock a.m. That'll be a special called meeting. I guess we'll have to advertise that, but I'm going to be out of town Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'd like to move our court meeting to Wednesday.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you all for doing that.
And Judge, on that note, to all the department heads and magistrates also, on that special called meeting, everything has to be listed specifically. So if you have anything, please get that to Leslie by okay, by the Thursday of the week prior, because due to we can't go off agenda on a special called meeting. So like, I know Jordan will need rock, so he'll have to have that, and et cetera, et cetera. We all know the drill. It's just a reminder.
And I want to, I guess I want to share something that came to my attention. It was shared at last night's city council meeting, so I'm going to share it here at fiscal court meeting. Mayor Girdler and I had a very productive meeting with a company that we've been talking to for a year now, and can't let out the details yet until they make an official announcement, but I will say they are committed to Somerset, Kentucky, and they have showed us their project timeline, and they have showed us the architectural drawings here in Somerset, and we're going to be getting a new announcement. Now, they did say the time of the announcement would be May to July, and I offered them $100 to advertise that in May, but they wouldn't take me up on that. But anyway, I want to let you know, since he kind of let that out, that we did have a good meeting, and we will we'll be having a good announcement soon.
About future jobs, Judge?
Yes, sir. There'll be probably close to 100 jobs come with that deal. All right, so that's takes us to citizens' comments. We do have somebody today, Mr. Jeremy Bartley, would like to speak to us. And we just ask that you keep your comments not directed at anybody individual and try to keep it under 3 minutes if possible.
Oh, that should be no problem. How's everybody this morning? I just want to appear today, get on the docket. I represent the Waitsboro Homeowners Association. I've reviewed the minutes as I could trace them back and gather those. And in my discussions I spoke with Mr. Price and wanted to ascertain, one, where we are in the process in terms of, it's my understanding they have petitioned the court to have those two roads out in Waitsboro removed from the county system. It's my understanding, with speaking with the homeowners association, all but one member of the association is in favor of the removal. We discussed back and forth a couple of issues. We think there probably are some additional protections. The bottom line is they were concerned about encroachment from adjoining parcels. And I think there's some things that might very well protect them from that encroachment. But ultimately, it's my understanding the homeowner association would like to persist in petitioning the court to remove that subdivision from county maintenance.
Really, what we've asked for is a vote, an official vote, and an official meeting by the HOA, and then if they'll present that to the court, showing that a majority of them want that done, then the court can consider it.
Absolutely, and this may have been something we could have taken up indirectly outside of court's time, but it's one of those deals that I know we're all really busy, and when I discuss it with my clients, sometimes we're over here and you guys are here. I thought it would be a more convenient way just to align here, so we will.
If you can get that, then the
absolutely
court can look at it.
We'll petition the court then following a formal adoption by the homeowner association.
That's what I've recommended on any of these, although this is an unusual one, but anytime there's an HOA that we're dealing with versus just individual owners, I've advised them that it's better to get official action by the HOA.
Sure enough. So. And just for a little bit of humor, I would add that Dr. Brunner said he'd gladly switch out with them.
Oh, yeah.
We could just switch.
We're still waiting on a ruling there,
absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just a little bit of road humor while we were here. So. Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time. We'll come back with that fully voted petition. Mr. Weddle's with us. He's one of the...
He's not on the agenda, so he can't. No, I'm kidding.
Just there's been a lot of confusion about it.
I can only say that because I'm related to it.
I'm not supposed to tell anybody.
The look on your face was good.
It was proud.
There's been a lot of confusion about exactly what you're wanting, and when I say this, not on your all's end, it's basically between the homeowners association members. But are you saying you want a formalized homeowner association meeting?
Well, that's the only way action can. That's the only way that we can accept a formal recommendation by the HOA, and they should have to have annual meetings anyway. You can call a special meeting. Jeremy can advise you on all that, but we need a vote by the HOA, not just some informal email vote, because I don't think that's an official vote. Do you, Jeremy? If you just have I think you got to call them.
That we had from that.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. What about
but we're dealing with an HOA, and I just think legally that we need formal action by the HOA requesting it. All it is a meeting and a vote. That's all it is.
And that's I understand what you're saying, and of course I kind of got in this on the backside. You know, Susan has property out there at the end of it, so I don't officially live there, but just getting, I guess they have a meeting every year, like you said, and I think that's maybe already happened several months back.
Well, and they can typically, you can do a notice, and you can get those that can't attend, you can get their proxy. One person or two people can get proxies, and then that's the only agenda item is, do you vote to take ask the court to take the road out of the county maintenance system. So it should be fairly simple to do it. I'd just go around, not to give you legal advice, but I'd just go around and gather up all the proxies I could
Right.
from all the homeowners, and everybody that signed that petition should be willing to sign a proxy. And then you notice your meeting and present the proxies and the vote on those.
Okay.
I think that was a large issue. One of the reasons I wanted to bring it before the court was to get sort of your recommendation as to, I mean, obviously this differs from the normal
Yeah,
situation.
it does,
You
yeah.
gather an informal group of signatures. I didn't know if the court had already accepted that informal petition, and I just want to make sure we were on the same page.
Yeah.
I think we can accomplish.
What is the difference in just a regular county road and a homeowners association?
There is a particular association out there that I feel like the court needs to have. That whole subdivision is governed by the association and what they want done, except for the county road. In order to protect the court, I think the court needs a vote an official vote from the members of that association, because that road affects the association.
And I don't think what you're asking is very difficult, especially with the proxy issue.
Yeah.
If you're fine with that, I don't.
Yeah, proxies
There's an
are
awful lot
great.
of chiefs and not a lot of Indians out there.
Yeah.
So, getting everybody on the same page, we usually do through paper, so.
Well, I think anybody
Rich
that
people gotta
signed,
communicate through lawyers.
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm trying to make Jeremy a little money here, so.
You
No, I'm
hear me
just-
arguing with you. It was
yeah.
the 3 minutes that threw
Yeah.
me off, though.
Yeah.
I think a little extra.
But I think if you'll just get the proxies and take them around, get each one, everybody sign that petition should be willing to sign a proxy
I agree.
saying that they're in favor of it. And they could give the proxy to any homeowner out there
Sounds good.
or anybody else they wanted to.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Jeremy, if you'll hang around for a second.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Anybody else here have anything today? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you all. Have a good day.